What is up, and welcome back to another episode of So There's That. I'm your hostess, doing the mostest, Kivanchi, and we are here with Found Season 2, Episode 10, Missing While Outed. Now, first of all, I am sorry to the missing victim and your family, but like, we're really not going to be talking about you because Episode 10 was so audacious and so nerve-wracking. Like, my brain was livid and upset, literally, from start to finish, to the point where I was just like, you know what, they always be saving these people. Like, ain't nothing like too surprising or too deep about this right now. Like, we're all about M&A, we're all about Gabi, we're all about Sir and everything that's going on in Gabi's life. So like, if you're looking for like the case, this is not the episode for you. I didn't really care about it. And then also, this is one of those episodes where the case was not like high stakes enough necessarily to really take a front seat to everything else that was happening around it. Another thing, I was so emotionally hijacked that even with this episode, especially if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm gonna be like actively looking at my notes. It was just so much, and I just don't feel like I can look at y'all and do this straight and like remember everything that I want to say. And there's a lot of stuff that I want to say about this, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm cutting out as well because it just wasn't important. So let's just get into it. So the writer of today's episode is Troy Kelly. The director is Bob Hardy, and the cinematographer is Star Berry. Out the gates, Gabi rushes into Trent's house, and she's literally in her own personal fucking nightmare, okay? It's like she fell into the Freddy Krueger scene and literally standing there with the two people who are getting on her nerves and causing her the most strife in real life. Trent and Sir holding a gun at each other. So we ended the last episode with the bullets and stuff flying, which is why Gabi went in there in the first place, but all Trent did was shoot next to Sir's head. So already this tells you Sir's intention, because you allowed Trent to pull this gun out and actually actively shoot at you, but you never even fired back. And there was enough time for you to do so before Gabi came up in his house. So he's like, look, Gabrielle, look, everything that I did for you, I did for M&A. Like, everybody's gonna be good together. Like, you just need to come with me. Like, let's just come and let's get out of here and let's go. And Gabi's standing there and she's kind of having a moment, and she tells Trent, you know, shoot this son of a bitch. The lights go down and Sir is like wrestling with somebody getting smuggled out of Trent's house. Cops come over, they're taking statements, you know, with situations and stuff like that. But the fact of the matter is, while Trent had his service gun on his ankle holster, your other gun is in the wind with Sir. So now that's another thing to worry about, more paperwork write-ups, and we got to make sure that we don't see bullets or anything in any other murders, because as of now is not the time for you to be chewing on this loud toy after I started. Can you do it in the kennel? Can you do it in the kennel? Go, kennel. Come on. Lord, gotta take care of these kids. So yeah. So the gun is out there, right? So we gotta worry about, you know, is Sir gonna kill anybody? Now we know the only murder that we know that Sir committed was the fire in killing his mom. But the way that Sir moves and all the opportunities that he got to kill literally everybody at M&A, he hasn't done so. So now I'm really curious. I have a mental side quest. Who really burned down that house? Was it Sir? Was it Christian? Or was it the sister? Who was it? Was it a boyfriend? Did the mama do it herself? Like, I'm so curious, because Sir does not give murder, like, at all. He gives, you know, kidnapping and delusions and make-believe and whatever it is that's in his mind with what he wants to do with Gabi. But I am now questioning, like, this whole standoff and these last two episodes make me wonder, like, did he kill his mom? Okay. Boom. So Gabi gets a call from Dhan from the hospital. He's awake, and so, you know, she's like super excited to go see him, especially after Ethan was all up in her face talking about, I just want to have this moment with my husband because I had to share him this whole time with you, and this is my last days, but I just wanted to be with me, so like whatever. And so she's like super excited, and she leaves. The police chief, I think it's Mallory, he comes in and he's like, bro, some shit is not adding up. So sir is up in here in your house. You said that she met up with him at the school, all these other things. Like, it's really starting to look like she's working with him and not actually trying to find him. So yeah, we're issuing the warrant. She's getting arrested tomorrow. Like, are you gonna be able to do that? And Trent's now trying to be the knight in dull armor and try to like look out for her and all this other stuff. And he tells him, I told you, when we get this ball rolling, this is going to be something that we cannot take back. And you sat your ass at that desk and huffing and puffing and blowing your flimsy little house down, and you filed the paperwork, and they have been investigating her ever since. And now the culmination of these events leading to Trent in your house. I mean, not Trent, sir, in your house. Mind you, your dumbass didn't even decipher the letter that was supposed to have you at the school in the first place and not Gabi. So now, you just not being the brightest crayon in the box, now it's legitimately, they're moving forward with this arrest for Gabi. And now you want to sit over here and act all sick and shit like that. Like, sir, good day. So, anyways, Trent takes Gabi home. And, you know, she's getting stuff situated and she's trying to like get the events of everything when Gabi's like, what's up? And he tells her everything that's going on. And she's just kind of like absorbing it or whatever. And he's like, I was just so hurt, and you lied to me, but like I tried, but I can't, and I started something that I can't stop. Maybe you should just run away. And she's like, okay, first of all, can't do that, obviously. If I was gonna run away from the consequences of my actions, I would have done that, and we would be standing here having this conversation. 1, 2, yo, all for justice ass, black and white ass, wouldn't even really live with yourself for that. Like, can you even keep that lie? Can you? No. Okay. So Gabi's like, look, I got 24 hours. Let me get stuff situated with my people, and you do whatever it is that you need to do and handle whatever feelings that you got going on. But I'm gonna go see Dhan. Like, you know, it is what it is. Boom. So she's at the hospital with Dhan, and you know, she's super excited to see him because that's her ride or die. Like, they are besties, okay? True blue and tight like glue. When she hears Ethan's clunky feet coming down the hallway, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna go. And Ethan's like, well, no, I told Dhan to call you. It's about a potential case. And she turned around and was like, excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute? Sure. You know, do you know somebody named? Yeah, I know his name. Well, I just wanted to let you know, because what the fuck are we doing, Ethan? What are we doing? So she goes to the hallway and she was like, listen, he's already been through enough. He doesn't need to know anything about sir being at Trent's house or anything like that. Like, I don't need him tearing out his stitches, leaving the hospital before he needs to, because he will come after me. And so Ethan gives this like super stiff, condescending, fake ass, like, I am so sorry for what sir is continuing to put you through, but I told Dhan to call you because we may have a potential case. And the case ends up being about a friend of his whose son is missing, and it could be due to like a potential hazing, some homophobia, and some things going on at the school. So she's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do this for you. And she's kind of like a little bit energized by it because Ethan is beefing with her for no reason, but she's like, you know what, I can do this for you if that's gonna get you off my back and push you back into the arms of your husband, because everybody wants Dhan and Ethan to work it out. I don't, but they want Dhan and Ethan to work it out. Then she's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do that. Boom. So she goes back to M&A and she's presenting this as a potential hate crime when Margaret is like, I'm sorry, are we not talking about the sir situation? And Gabi's like, look, the police and everybody are looking for him. Like, there's so many other things. Like, there's nothing we could do. And she's like, okay, but you're holding something back. And Margaret got the Margaret vision back. Okay, she got the Wanda vision. She got the X-ray vision. She is here, baby. And she is clocking everything in the room. But Gabi's just trying to reassure them. And Margaret's looking around for some help. And everybody's just kind of looking at her like, let's just kind of continue with the case. So she's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna let it go. Cool. So sir is back in his RV, crashing out bad. I mean, having the crash out of his life. When we get a text message from whomever he's talking to, we already know he's talking to somebody on the phone. We already know that. And then whoever is texting him. So it just says unknown. And the text said, I told you Gabrielle is a traitor. You need to run. Leave before it's too late. Now, the first thing I thought was, there's one person who calls Gabi Gabrielle, and it's sir. Okay. People are thinking Christian is the accomplice, but we know that Christian called Gabi Gabi and called her Gabi to sir's face, and he was about to kill him. So did he do that, or is that like a red herring thing where he did that because he knows sir hates it, but he really is his accomplice? Or is there somebody else that's so close to sir who also understands how much words and names specifically mean to him, and like what's going on? And you know, apparently it's been hinted that we have seen his accomplice. Who that could be, I don't know. We'll talk about it at the end. But the way that they spelled her whole name out stood out to me. And then sir texted back, I don't need you anymore. Okay, well, what events changed? Do you not need that person anymore because they're putting Gabi in more danger, and then subsequently you? Do you not need them anymore because they're putting you in situations to get caught? Like, what do you mean by that? Because now we're looking at 2 episodes back to back where he's trying to win like Gabi's stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, Gabi leave, and you're looking out for her safety. So there's a lot of like back and forth that's going on here, and it's making me wonder, wherein we first felt that sir was pulling the strings, is he really the biggest mastermind behind whatever is going on in the first place? Okay, so anyways, he calls up whoever it was that he's talking to, and he's speaking to them in Russian, and he's like, listen, this is going down tonight. Me and my wife, we will be settling there really soon. And he starts to pack his bags. So we're moving on with the case, and as everybody's divvying out their roles and stuff like that to find this missing kid, whose name is Jared, I believe, Gabi openly tells Lacey that there's an arrest warrant that's going to be issued out for her, and she's going to be getting arrested tomorrow. And Lacey's kind of like mentally going through her Rolodex really, really fast, and she's just like, you're a flight risk. There's no way that they would allow you to make bail. And we already know Lacey is like super hypersensitive and very close to Gabi, so she's getting a little emotional about it because she's just like, I can't see a way out of this. Which brings us back to a flashback. Gabi's talking to Gina. She's getting ready for college. She's trying to figure out what her look is going to be. Just trying to settle into that excitement of what your identity is going to be now that you grown and you moving out and everything like that. And Gina asks her, are you excited about like starting a new life, or are you excited about leaving this one? And Gabi's like, I'm excited about both. Like, I'm in this space where I want to move on, but unfortunately, there's so many things anchoring me here. Now, she didn't say that, but when you think about the question that Gina even asked, and she thinks it's, just about her dad and not wanting to talk to her dad and wanting to be away from that, that is a part of it. But what's also anchoring her is the fact that she's playing mom to all of y'all. She deserves to be excited to get away from this, because even in her kindness and being a sister / mother to Bella, to being a sister to Bella's mom, Gina, y'all are still a constant reminder of her trauma. And as we're seeing the Gabi and Lacey relationship today, it is still very much the same thing. So Gabi goes to Bella and she's telling her, you know, like, it's okay, like, you're always gonna be my best friend. And she gives her, y'all know them friendship necklaces with half of the heart where it's like best friend, and she gives that to her, and she's like, you will never be without me, like, we are always gonna be besties, like, it's me and you and me, okay? And so this flashback kind of like highlights even more just that type of bond that was rooted in Bella's trauma. And so again, we're still seeing why Lacey is so viscerally reactive towards Gabi leaving. And it started with, after they all got back, after she felt safe, Gabi's going off to college. And kids, they don't really be understanding that, right? They just want you there all the time. In current times, okay, Christian's face is on the news and he's officially been named as a person of interest. And at this point, it doesn't really seem like they're looking at him as an arrest, but they know that Christian is around in the city and you're related to the person that we are manhunting. So his stuff is all over the place. So then the chief comes in with the paperwork and he gives it to Trent and he was like, so are you gonna have the cojones to actually do this, or do I need to do your job? And Trent's all like, oh, there's a missing kid out there. We still have to do a job to protect and serve, right? Are we gonna put all of our resources behind chasing Gabi? We said 24 hours, so let me go do my job. And I'm just like, wasn't you just leave? Like, wasn't a girl bra just wide open on your couch? And you told her, don't say anything. And now it's, why are we chasing after Gabi when we have missing kids? Trent for justice. Like, shut the fuck up, okay? Getting on my nerves. There's so many things in my notes. It's literally tomatoes, literally all over my screen. Like, tomato, 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 boo, we hate you. Okay, now, I just want to park right here real quick and talk a little bit about the case. So they're investigating everything, and Margaret ended up finding Jared's diary, and there's some stuff in there that alludes to the fact that he was depressed to the point of thinking about suicide. Margaret brings it to Ethan and she's like, hey, I need your help in just reading this and interpreting this and seeing if you can find anything in this that would let us know like where he would go and what he would do. And Ethan had the nerve to say, I just think that this is such a violation, Margaret. Here's why we're parking. A young man is missing. A young college student is missing. You came to Gabi and asked her to find your friend's child. Okay. She's finding the clues because the boy is not here. Nobody knows where he's at. And it's a violation to read his diary. Sir, it's a violation to fall in love with your patients. It's a violation to marry your patients. What are we talking about, Mr. Morality? What are we talking about? What are we doing? You of all people, Ethan, talking about what a violation is. I literally, I want the earth to open up. Did y'all see Castlevania Nocturne season 2? I need for this thing to come up from the ground and just drag him straight to hell. This is what I'm looking at. Those things that came up in that movie Ghost that ended up grabbing Tony Goldwyn after he got that window smashed on him. This is what I need to come visit Ethan. I need the Dementors. I need whatever it was from this short film that I just watched called The Distinguished. Whatever it is, please drag my man to hell. I'm over him. And I don't understand why him as a side character is continuing to have words spoken out of his mouth. Set me free, my God, please. And then, okay, then Dhan now knows about Sir and Gabi. Why does he know? Gabi's like, I told you to tell him. Well, unlike you, I don't keep secrets from him. Bitch. I'm about to hit this nurse's call button because somebody's heart stopped, and it is not the person who got shot that's in this room. That's all I'm gonna say about that, okay? Anyways, Gabi ain't got time for this, and we ain't got time for no shade. Like, we literally have stuff to do. So she goes into the school, and she ends up forcing their hand in the case because their website seems really shady. Their social media presence is really weird. And they found out there were a bunch of cases that ended up getting suppressed for a lot of people reporting like sexual assault, hazing, and just otherwise like blatant discrimination that was leading people to suicide attempts, like actual attempts on their lives. So she was like, you know, we're gonna do this press conference here in front of the school, and you're gonna be on TV for reasons other than you would like, or you're gonna turn over the footage around this campus so we can figure out what happened that night. So, you know, he did what he needed to do, and he turned over the footage. So while they're watching the footage, Gina ends up coming into M&A, and the footage doesn't have any audio, but they're trying to figure out like what he's saying. And as Gina walks in, she's like, oh, he's saying this. And they're like, how do you know? And she's like, well, you know, Lacey, when you weren't talking, I needed to figure out how to communicate with you. So I learned how to do sign language, and I learned how to read lips. So I thought this was really cool and a great entryway into giving Gina a little bit more story in this whole Bella, Lacey, Gina, Gabi saga, right? And I think that this is a very big nugget, and they wouldn't have put that there and let it sit there with this particular type of skill if that didn't mean that Gina has been secretly collecting other skills along the way to not only communicate with her baby, but to protect her baby at all costs, okay? So they figure everything out, and they're like, okay, we need to go talk to the parents again, just see like what's going on. Do they know that he had a boyfriend? This, that, and the third. And so Gabi leaves. And Gina went off on every last one of them. She was like, okay, so what? She's getting arrested tomorrow. This woman has been consistently putting her neck, her freedom, and everything out on the line for all of y'all. She lied once, boo-hoo. She kidnapped the man who kidnapped her. Get over it. This is the time where the people that she has been consistently fighting for, the people who she puts before her above all others, now is the time for y'all to put whatever petty shit and emotional shit and just victim shit behind you and actually fight for her. Because guess who is fighting for her? Sir. So he gonna get her, or y'all gonna do what you need to do to get her. And she walked off, and I said, finally, finally, finally. Y'all are too grown, and every single one of y'all are connected through kidnapping and the way that trauma continues to stay. Margaret, you just came back from a situation due to your own son's kidnapping. Why are we not rallying around the strongest person in the room? Why are y'all not seeing and recognizing that now is the time that she needs you and not the time for y'all to just break down? Fight for her and fight with her. Please, I beg. So shout out to you, Jenna. So we're back at the RV, and look who the wind blew in. It's Christian. And this conversation, shout out to you, the writer, who was it, Troy Kelly? Shout out to you, because this conversation is deceptive as fuck. Okay, so Christian comes in, he was like, Cersei comes in all like super casual, right? And if you think about before Winter Break, he was thrown off guard when Sir showed up at his hotel. But he knows exactly where Sir is. So he just walked up in there like, oh, I thought like da-da-da-da. So we're having this regular, normal conversation. And then Christian's like, look, everybody's looking for you, and now the heat is on me. I can't go to work. I can't be seen out in public. And you need to get me like out of the city, out of the state. Like, you need to figure out how this is going to work, because I'm not going to be tied up in your mess. And so he kind of looks over, because Sir is just kind of like sitting there chilling like, I don't know what you want me to do about this, and I honestly don't even know why you're here. So this is the faces that he making when Christian sees the suitcase. He was like, oh, you're trying to take her tonight. And did I write this down? I think Christian said Gabi in the RV. That's why I had to write it down. I'm like, did I write Gabrielle or Gabi? And then he was like, oh, you're trying to leave tonight. And he was like, I won't let you do it. So it's like, it's deceptive because is he innocent? Or does he have ulterior motives for Gabi? And so you don't really know. And so they get into this huge fight in the RV. And yeah, it's not looking good for your boy Christian. Sir is driven by an ungodly obsession, unearthly obsession, and inhumane. Like, at this point, he gets his energy from, like, I don't know, the aliens or something. I'm not sure. But you're not winning against Sir. If you're in the way of Sir and Gabi, you're not winning. And that just is what it is. So Gina goes back to Lacey and she's like, I am so sorry for going off on y'all. And Lacey was like, no, we literally needed to hear it. I'm just personally frustrated because I have gone through every legal loophole I can think of, and there is just no way that I can see her getting out of this. And, you know, she's just, again, back emotional. Like, what am I going to do without Gabi, right? So we go back into a flashback. And Bella was playing in her room near the closet when she looked down on the floor and saw a booklet. That booklet was a passport with Gabi's, like, current face on it. And so Bella is, like, freaking out, drops the passport, runs to get her mom, and she comes back into the room, and the passport is not there anymore. But she, you know, she know how to spell. So she writes, she's like, Gabi's in danger. And she's like, you know, it's just that Gabi is leaving, and it's going to be new for you, and this, that, and the third. And this is the part where I feel it goes back to, like, that enabling of Lacey not trusting herself and feeling like she can't rely on the things that she sees and that she feels. She's telling you Gabi is in danger, and you're equating it to, it's okay, you will be able to visit her, she'll come home from vacations. And it's like, why are we not reading into the clear, obvious symptoms of physical reaction to the fact that something is wrong? There wasn't even no follow-up questions. She didn't ask how was Gabi in danger or nothing. So as she's telling Bella this and trying to reassure her, we see Sir underneath the bed holding the passport. Okay. And I thought this was really nice. The flashbacks are getting really, like, close to being, like, super and hyper parallel to what's going on in real life, because we know he's trying to leave the country now. So the flashback to the passport scene directly correlating to the passport scenes now. So now the case is solved. Okay. Turns out the boy wasn't missing. He ended up getting into a really bad car accident, but they were able to get him to the hospital and get him saved. So Ethan pulls Gabi off to the side and he thanks her for helping his friend. And I had the world's loudest eye roll yet again. So she's like, you know, nodding her head like, okay, cool, I'm gonna leave, because I wouldn't want to be in your presence either. Like, I did this for you and that was great, but, like, Dhan's my friend and you're not. So let's just keep it cool. When he stops her and he's like, you can't go to jail. Dhan needs you. And I'm like, oh, everybody's eating a shit pie. It's like the help all up and through this, okay? And literally serve them. Eat my shit. And that is how I felt in this moment. I loved it. It was so beautiful. So we go back to M&A and Gina brings a cake in to celebrate their 2-year anniversary. And it's crazy that in 2 years they're doing all of this. Also, I love how M&A started to bring home and highlight kidnapping of Black and brown children, but I also love how they're just, like, non-discriminatory. Like, they're gonna find everybody, right? Because we also know that in the police world there's also, like, politics involved, and sometimes, you know, the wrong white kid gets kidnapped too and ain't nobody really thinking about it, or the right white kid gets kidnapped too. So I do love that the M&A is very clear about their advocacy while also continuing to put in the work and to find people that the police are not capable of doing. Like, there's a lot more red tape too with the police. I'm not going to say like they just ignoring it. There's just a lot more red tape, and I love how the public, regardless of their ethnic and racial background, I love how the public has so much trust in Gabi that they come to her. And I meant to say that in the last episode, because we've seen such diverse cases with M&A. So for them to just be even 2 years old with this diverse group and having a record of finding like 90-something% of all of their victims, no matter what age, that is a real big accomplishment, on top of the stress and everything that she feels with her own trauma that she is not facing. Shout out to you, Gabi. Black girl magic. So everybody leaves and they all go to take Gabi home. They all had their little talk while Gabi was gone, and everybody's doing what they need to do to just prep Gabi for tomorrow and figuring it out. Because at this point, she hasn't gotten a call, nobody's come, and so it's just like, well, I don't know when they're gonna arrest me. And so they're like, well, we're not gonna wait here. We're gonna try to, you know, thug it out one final night or whatever. So they go up to her house. Dhan's making sure everything is secure outside. Zeke is doing everything with his tech. Lacey's at the computer. She's like, we finna burn all this shit down. They can search your house, but they ain't gonna find no evidence. And Margaret in the basement with a fucking mallet, like she's tearing down any evidence of a prison has ever existed. And I'm like, yes, finally. And not only finally they're doing stuff to help, she's sitting and she's allowing them to help her. So she ends up walking in the basement, and you know, she's thanking Margaret and everything, but she's asked her, you know, like, I get why everybody else is helping me, but why are you helping me? And for the first time in Gabi's life, somebody who is an adult actually apologized to her. Margaret literally said, I projected everything that I was not, my insecurities, my inability to find my son, onto you. And you did not deserve it. While I don't think that what you did was right, I was literally giving you way more heat than was caused because I was depressed and I felt like a failure, and you did not deserve that. I'm sorry. Trent with his bullshit ass, it was just so hurt. Ethan with his passive aggressiveness, right? And it's Margaret who says, I was wrong and I should have supported you. And I also love that in this conversation that Gabi admits to not leaning on her M&A family and allowing them into her emotional space that even triggered her kidnapping Sir in the first place. So we're really getting to some deep things, and I just love this scene so much because in season 1 you really got to see the group be so tight-knit, especially Lacey, Margaret, and Gabi. And I love Margaret and Gabi's relationship because it's so different than Lacey's. Lacey's is very much almost like Gabi's daughter. Like, I'm gonna just be real. And it's almost like Lacey is the friend that Gabi had by circumstance, and Margaret is the friend that she has by choice. So even though they're all connected in this way, it's still a choice to allow Margaret into your space and for Margaret to allow you into her space like that. And so I just love that they were able to really come back together. Not even squash a beef, but just strengthen their own sisterhood and their own camaraderie with each other. So I really love that scene so much. Trent is at the station looking like, I don't even know, y'all. Like, you was just in the guts of Heather. First, trying to evade the fact that you still hung up on your ex. Then when she calls you out on me, you trying to be like, yeah, she did break my heart. And now you sitting over here, Gabi, please, no. No, I don't want you to go to jail. Leave the country with me. And looking all sad, staring at the affidavit. When Shaker calls, where have you been? Where have you been? Hey, girl. They found the RV. So Sir's RV has turned up. So Trent, hurry up and leave, and he hightails it out of there. Now, again, we're back at Gabi's home, and we're getting some more reflections on Gabi, where she's talking about she wishes she would have said some things to her dad before he passed. And again, we're just opening up more about how closed off she allowed herself to be, and how it was rooted in her relationship with her father. And so we're not just looking at a Gabi who's still being haunted and tormented by Sir, but she's also haunted and tormented by the years that she lost. And the fact that she lost those years was because her father. And she always wanted him, but he chose to wallow in his own self-pity instead of checking in with his daughter and realizing that she still was not okay. And that is just a very, very, very sad pill to follow. And in this, Lacey finds some strength in her and says, you know what? Everything you've done, all these things, we understand and we forgive you and we love you. And she pulls out the necklace and she's like, you remember when you gave me this? This has never changed. It will never change, and we will figure something out. So we go to a flashback, and Gabi and Lacey are laying in the bed together when Bella jumps up, and she's like a little bit scared. And Gabi leans over and she's like, listen, you don't have to keep watch anymore. Because it seemed like she jumped up because she was trying to stay awake to keep Gabi safe. And she tells her, you don't have to keep watch anymore. I'm not going anywhere. You will never lose me. And as she's telling her this, Sir is in the closet looking at this. And as he goes to pull the handle on the closet door, we get a beautiful transition of another hand opening another door in current days. And it's Sir's gloved hand opening up M&A's door and jamming and shutting down all of the security at that office. He looks around, he has his bags, and he is getting ready to wait for his Gabrielle. So there's that, people. Found season 2, episode 10, missing while outed. Okay. I wrote down again some specific names and some people that I want to talk about. First and foremost, Trent. I hate you so much with the depths of my soul. With all of the dead spirits floating in the sea of death in Hades. I hate you so much. You do not deserve Gabi. You don't deserve anybody. I need you to sit and wallow for a really long time. And while we're out here trying to collect Sir, I also need you to go back and look at all these kids with these unsolved murders. Like, go do something else. Go do something else. You want to be there for Gabi? Be there for these missing kids. For these cases that your dad was on that ended up getting swept under the rug. Because all of this stuff that you're trying to do behind Gabi again, like I said, I don't even know if I said this in the last episode. I think I did. You love Gabi conditionally. When you thought one thing, you came in her head heavy. And now you're seeing that it's another thing. And now it's, oh my God, I'm sorry. I was just so hurt. So you don't even have the emotional bandwidth or the emotional maturity to even sit and have a real conversation. Because had you had a real conversation about this with her at the beginning of the season, instead of throwing shade and being all nasty and stuff with her, you probably could have been on her side longer than now. And you could have been working with her to figure these things out instead of working against her. Now you look like a stupid goddamn fool, okay? Another fool, Ethan. I just want to Thanos snap and you disappear. Dhan, please get the divorce. You will be okay. You will heal from this. You'll be hurt a little bit, but getting a divorce from Ethan is not the hardest thing you've ever even done in your life. You've come back from kidnapping. You even come back from telling your Muslim parents that you were gay. Okay? You have been through it all. And you just got shot. Like, sir, you will be fine. You will lean on your M&A family and let him go. Let him stay in an apartment. Don't want to see him anymore. Sir and Christian, right? I'm really interested in this. Sir is confusing me now. Sir is confusing me. And he was already one of them villains that, like, I liked. But now, like I said earlier, who's really pulling, what is happening? There is a level of urgency. Something has kicked the urgency notch up so high. Is one or more of his accomplices, Jesus Christ, now a danger to Gabi? Are they a danger to him? Are we moving this up because you feel like the police are on you? Like, we have no idea. So the way that he's going, like, back and forth is really throwing me off. And it was all brought to head in the space with Christian. Is Christian the accomplice, or is Christian simply a brother trying to be a brother, but also, like, trying to toe the line of doing the right thing by being like, sir, like, please stop this nonsense? Who knows? Next up, the receptionist. It is time to fire them, because what I'm trying to figure out is Zeke got all his technology and he can do all these things, yet sir is consistently breaking into M&A. Consistently. What is happening? Who are ye? And why are ye still here? You need to get fired, sir or ma'am, because what is happening? I am so confused. I'm so confused. He should be walking into the front door. What? What is happening? That is so wild to me, which makes me think that the receptionist could be in on it. Christian could be in on it. I still think Heather is Sir's sister, and I think she's in on it. And I would love for her to literally get Trent to fall in love with her, just for that to be like the plot twist of the season. And then, like, yeah, the last thing, why we ain't got no security? Like, why did Gabrielle not hire night security? You have sensitive files on so many different people in so many different cases. People's addresses, their phone numbers, date of births, all types of stuff. How is Sir still getting in? Why is there no security? Questions that need answers. Like, I need these ASAP, okay? All right. Listen, that's gonna wrap up this episode, y'all. That's gonna wrap up this episode. I would love to see and know what y'all think in the comments below. Who do you think the accomplice is? Somebody on Twitter said that they think that Trent's dad, Trent Sr., that's what we're calling him. I call him Daddy Trent. Somebody thinks that Daddy Trent is somehow Sir's father or working with Sir. And that's how Sir has been able to evade the law for so long. Somebody in my comments on the last video brought up, oh my god, let me pull it up because it was so in depth that I was just like, this is actually super well thought out, and I forgot it. So they said, Sir admitted that Gabi's dad discussed a lack of press surrounding her case. Wouldn't it be wild if Gabi's kidnapping case was also one of the ones swept under the rug by Trent Sr.? It would also help to explain Trent Sr.'s disdain for Gabi, especially with that comment of saying like, oh, you were one of the ones who were able to help themselves. So I really liked that, because it was such a strange beef and a strange relationship, and just even being like, stay away from my son and all types of other stuff. So it's like, if she stays close to your son, will the truth come out even faster? And now with everything that's going on, and Sir being so hell-bent to get Heavy Boots' attention, specifically about these cases that his dad was on, that would be wild if 20 years ago, Gabi was one of the cases and Sir was following her case in the news just to kind of see if they were going to be able to find her. And then in his mind, because they weren't talking about it, he felt like the police officer that was supposed to be on the case didn't even care about Gabi enough to even find her, which of course would internalize for him, nobody cares about her more than me, even though you kidnapped her. But like, you know, I digress. I really like that theory. Tell me what y'all think in the comments below, y'all. That's gonna wrap up this episode, okay? As always, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave comments in the comment box below. We've had some great discussions last episode. As always, if you know people who just want to listen, go ahead and share that Spotify link and the Apple Podcast link. You can find me on Instagram at So There's That Podcast as well, okay? I'm posting film and television news there, not only in my stories, but also on my grid. And why does the Instagram grid look like that right now? Like, it's ugly now. I hate it so much. But anyways, I can gripe and complain over on Twitter at Kevonchi as well as at Blue Sky. And with that, I'm gonna see y'all in the next episode.